What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Tajay Brian, and today on United Facts TV 876 we are going to discuss the reasons that I believe why Manchester United is playing so poorly on the field, and what are the reasons why we are seeing such performances. Alright, so like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let's proceed. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't plan to be long, So I have two reasons why Manchester United is in the mud. So I would say the players that we have in the squad is the problem, and the board. The manager is part of the problem, but he's not the major problem, and I don't think he should be held accountable for everything else that I regard as the problem. Now let me just go quickly into why the players are the problem. Firstly, a lot of the players in the squad are players that Erik ten Hag inherited, and as such, most of these players may not be of the standard as to how he wants to play football, and the mentality may not be what he desires out of his players, because we know this, rinse and repeat, over the past 10 years, going into 11, we have had 5 managers now. Ten Hag is the 5th manager officially, since Fergie, right, retired. Rinse and repeat. You appoint a manager, back them for a window and a half, sack them. That cycle repeat throughout the various managers we've had over the years. So over the years, I have been saying the coach is the problem, the coach is the problem, the coach is the problem. But looking back at it, it cannot be that Moyes came in, Van Gaal came in, Mourinho came in, Ole came in, and now Ten Hag, and we are still having similar problems. So that is why I'm going to say to you, the players is a major contributing factor to the issues we're having as it relates to the results. The board is the other problem based on the business aspect of Manchester United. But on the pitch issues is not solely the manager, because not only he inherited a squad based on the previous managers before him, as one of my pointers to say that you cannot put the 100% blame on Ten Hag. Also, right, these players, when they are put on the pitch, you can see in the body language that they're not a cohesive unit, right? They're not fighting for the badge. And let me tell you this, if these players are down tooling and sacking the manager and playing poorly to say that they don't like this man who is in charge of them, they're also selfish to not only the manager, they're selfish to the fans. Because let us look at it in this respect. We the fans, we are the ones that pays these players. And person can say, no, but the Glazers and the owners. Let me put it in perspective. Whenever we buy a MUTV membership, some of that money is going towards how Man United pays the players. When we go to watch the matches at Old Trafford and away to Anfield or wherever we're away playing, we pay the money to pay the players. Understand? When we are watching it on our TVs, on the Sky Sports and the Peacock and all of those streaming platforms that shows the Premier League, we are paying the players. So they are selfish to us in that respect, right? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to chastise individuals, but quite frankly, a few of these players also, I don't think we need to continue with. A lot of people are going to say, they're going to disagree with me now. I'm going to say to you, if it were me, I'm not going to continue with Marcus Rashford. Whatever money we can get, over 40 million for Marcus Rashford, I would cash in right now. And let me tell you why. Because over the years, I'm not really surprised by this season Marcus Rashford is having, Let me tell you why. Last year he played well. The season before last, how did he play? Poorly. Probably not as less as 3 goals like this season, but he never had a banging season the year before last. He had an okay season the year before that. What happened to the year before? So there's a trend with Rashford as well. This year is good, next year is bad. Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Now, I'm used to watching the Cristianos, the Ibrahimoviches, the Suarez. These people are consistent players, and persons are going to say to me, you cannot compare Rashford with those players. But I'm going to say yes, because a lot of Man U fans put Rashford in that bracket, you know. And if you're playing for a club of Manchester United, you know, with the stakes as high as that, we have to put players who are sporting Wayne Rooney's number in those conversations, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Number 10 of Manchester United, we have to put him in that conversation. Right? And we have to demand that level of consistency from those players. And it's not only Rashford. Because yes, Anthony is not playing up to standard, you know. And that aspect of it, there are a few questionable signings that Ten Hag wanted. But I can't really too bash Ten Hag, you know. Because a lot of these, for that either, you know. Because I'm going to say this to the fans as well. We were hyping these players and we were happy that these players were linked with the club before they came to Manchester United. Now, the board, in contrary, I would say, is the problem now for signing that player for so much money, Anthony, right? And I would say Ten Hag made a blunder in not re-signing De Gea and getting Onana. Yes, Onana is a ball-playing goalkeeper. But to be honest with you, we don't need to play the ball-playing style. Because to me, every minute the ball down there, behind there, and they're passing it back to him. Fine, them have confidence in Onana. Bang. Okay, cool. But the shot stopping aspect, which is more important to me right now, he's not doing it. So that's a questionable signing. Mason Mount signing, 60 million for him is too much. And let me tell you why I said this. We could have signed Tielemans and Maddison for that 60 million. Right? And we needed a target man striker, an experienced striker. Some of the money that was spent, the Onana money could have been put towards buying a striker, right? So I'm just showing you how the money could have been spent with some of these other players that we've gotten in this window. So in that respect, we have to say it is questionable. And also, I would say Ten Hag as well, with his game management in some of the games this season, it's questionable also. But that doesn't push me to say I want him to be sacked. Because everything else around him, to me, it is overwhelming if you or I was in his position. Let me tell you why. He's dealing with players with an obnoxious attitude. Sancho. I know Rashford has an ego. A lot of these players have an ego. Anthony Martial has an ego. You've heard Mourinho and previous managers speak about this. That you have players in that dressing room that has an ego. And the playing on the field is not up to par. Sancho, you don't achieve nothing in your career yet. And you're doing what you're doing to your manager. Now, you're collecting £350, £100 a week for not playing a minute in the Premier League. What does that say? These are the things that Ten Hag have to go through. There are injuries with a vast majority of the squad. 11 injuries, 11 different players have been injured. Right? And those 11 players are major contributing players in the squad. So you have to look at that also. Right? So when we talk about the board now, the negotiation process is a big thing that I don't understand, because I looking at it as a businessman. Let us say they appointed business people and say they are trying to be cost effective, which I would hope they were trying to do or trying to be. If somebody tell me that they have a product and them selling it for $4 today, and after today or after, let me not say today, if they have a product selling and they say I have 2 weeks to buy it for $4, right? And after the 2 weeks, it would cost me more. I would try and buy it for the lowest possible available price. Because if they tell me that after that period, it would cost me in excess of the $4, I would want to get it now. Right? So I don't understand that. And also, because Man United have this reputation for dragging out transfer deals, a lot of times other clubs come in and swoop the players, which also results in a panic buy, which results in a player that the manager really doesn't want. And that's another story in itself. Now, when I said to you, when I gave you the analogy of the $4 and the 2 weeks, and after the 2 weeks it will cost in excess of the $4, that's a big problem, because it will cut in a lot of the revenues of the club and the dividends. That's another thing. You're not doing well as a business, because clearly that is what's happening behind the scenes. We were not really much so aware of it since recent times. Why are you deducting dividends? Firstly, they bought the club and put the club in debt. So whatever the Glazers did, whichever money they have to pay back, they are using United to pay that debt. And these business people that they have appointed, the Richard Arnolds, the John Murtaughs, and the Ed Woodward. When you have those people who are not doing the proper deals and are overpaying on players that are not as good as they seem, you have to really sit back and look at it and say, are these persons who I appointed competent in their roles? So, for me, the Glazers themselves are not competent, because it's clear as day, based on how they do deals and who they appointed. They're not competent, and the Glazers, they don't know jack about football. They know about American football, but not our football. So you really have to ask yourself that question. So, ladies and gentlemen, I understand the frustration and the emotions that we are going through as Manchester United fans. However, we have to be objective and not emotional to these things, right? We have to take an objective approach. We have to look at things logically, right, guys? Because we can't keep blaming the manager, guys. Because any manager that comes to manage this team, it can be Zinedine Zidane, it can be Pep himself, which not going to happen, it can be Carlo Ancelotti, name all the top class managers. And people, look at this too. Have you guys recognized that Manchester United flopped Mourinho's career? Ever since he managed Manchester United, he has not been the same manager. Yes, he's went places and won since us, but he's not been the same, and he's not gotten the same lucrative jobs since us. What does that say to you? There's a big issue at Manchester United. We had good managers come to the club, and they did not change the stakes. So I think that anybody coming under the current regime is bound to fail at Manchester United. It is a surety to fail as a top class manager. Because when Klopp was coming to the Premier League, persons are saying he'll come to United. He chose Liverpool. Right? Why didn't these managers choose United? Think about these things, ladies and gents. There's a big issue at Manchester United. The players, they're playing a very big role into why we're not doing well on the pitch. And the board, they're just as plausible in this whole grand scheme of things. Ten Hag is to blame for a few things, but he should not take the fall for everything that's happening, because all that's doing is putting a band-aid over the wound just for the immediate moment. Guys, I hope that I spread some light as to what is happening at Manchester United currently, because I don't think it's fair to blame one person for numerous amounts of problems. Right? Like, share, and subscribe. See you guys soon.